Joining us now is Doug Wead, advisor to two presidents, presidential historian, and Doug, we again. Joining us now is Doug Wead, advisor to two presidents, presidential historian, and Doug, we're witnessing history being formulated at this very moment. This has been an extraordinary day. This violence, the very historic, actually, element of this that is all but overwhelmed by the demonstrations and the seizure of parts of the Capitol by the protesters, is the fact that conservatives were in the streets of the Capitol protesting and demonstrating. I can't think of the last time conservatives, Republicans, were involved in street demonstrations. Your thoughts?
You know, by the way, I'm in Bonita Springs, Florida. There's no curfew down here. Governor DeSantis. So we can still also speak freely here. But I was going to say, Lou, I've often been deeply impressed by the American people. The national media often looks with condescension and insults their intelligence with outrageous stories, thinking nobody's paying attention. But I think this is an uprising of the American people, that this is not something organized. Trump didn't organize it. It's something that happened because people are feeling it in their gut that something was wrong with this election. In nation balloting by mail, as you know. My wife is from France. It's illegal in France. It's illegal in Italy and in Greece and Norway and Sweden, on and on. Jimmy Carter said it's too open to fraud. Is why those countries make it illegal. But the American people, I think, sensed something was wrong and very spontaneously responded and came to Washington. And it may have been clumsy, it may have been wrong, and it may be hurtful, and it's certainly counterproductive to their cause. But this is something that the people are doing.
Yeah, I think that there was great spontaneity and a great passion being expressed by these demonstrators and protesters that then, amongst those protesters and demonstrators, this sudden decision on the part of the mob, as it became, to then storm the Capitol, is just it's unconscionable. And while in some minds it would certainly be understandable to say this pales compared to the violence this country witnessed by the left over the course of the part of the spring and summer, even the fall. The reality here is that it is repugnant to all Americans to see violence and a protest and a demonstration that I think millions and millions of Americans could cheer. The cheering stopped when they entered that precious Capitol building. That was one step too far. It's good to see things are back in order, but I think we also have to take note. You talked about the spontaneous arrival of these people. There was also great talk on social media and suggestions, intimations at least, from even the president that January 6th would be a great day to demonstrate and to show Congress their concern about a fraudulent election as they view it. Tens of millions of Americans view it that way. What are your thoughts about the influence of the day's activities on the politics? We heard from Joe Biden saying that the president should prosecute everyone to the fullest extent. He didn't say that about a single one of the most violent rioting in the country, of those who committed the most violent rioting in this country from May through August. Your thoughts?
Yeah, that's a very good point, Lou. There's a lot of hypocrisy going around, and I thought of my dear friend George W. Bush, who was complaining about what happened and how outrageous it was. But I remember his folks, we were all encouraging those demonstrators crowding into the hallways of Florida and shouting and screaming and spontaneously,
Right.
supposedly hollering. It
Well, there
went
may
all the
be.
way to the Supreme Court. So
Right. Well,
they had their
and we remember the
spontaneous
outcome of that.
demonstration.
And that
That's right.
frustration has been part of the subtext for the Democratic Party, obviously, for the past 20 years. Doug Wead, as always, thanks so much for your insight, your perspective. We appreciate it.
If you want a litany of all the good things that Donald Trump did as president, get inside Trump's White House. It's the authorized version, the authorized account of the Trump White House. Great stories. You know, they text each other every day. So here's Melania and Ivanka and Jared and Laura, the great love story of Eric and Laura. You got to read that. And hide and go seek with the 9 grandchildren racing through the state floors and Barron's supervising. Here it is in Dutch, it's in Japanese and Korean and Chinese and all over the world. A great positive read of what our president accomplished in his historic years. Subscribe to this channel. It's the only way we know to defeat the censors. They change the numbers of views, they shadow ban, they throttle. The only way we've been able to try to get videos directly to our people is if they subscribe to the channel and hit the little bell. We're trying to survive this era of censorship, the new Soviet era of the United States.